Let's go to your place, just me, you and your friend. Seems like I died and went to heaven. I hope this feeling just don't go away. When I wake up in the morning, I got nothing but a Monday. I'm working 9 to 5 days straight. When the weekend comes around, man, the rest of my life is just a haze. You see, I leave on Friday night. Don't plan to be back for days.
So this is not a long-term review of the classic. It can't be, because I have barely spent a couple of months with the bike. We've had the bike for over a year, and everybody else, Karthik, Arun, Amar, Jihan, they have spent way more time with this bike. What this is the story of how the classic saved my life. And while that might sound like a bit much, what I'm about to say is all true. And again, I'm not a big fan of sharing my personal life in a public space like this, but I think it's important to set up the background for the story. So about 2.5 years back, I got diagnosed with a chronic kidney disease, and I was on dialysis since then, 2 or 3 times a week. And to give me a better quality of life, the doctors planned for a kidney transplant. But unfortunately, on 31st December 2021, almost exactly 1 year ago, I had a brain hemorrhage, a stroke, and the entire left side of my body was just super weak. So the surgery was out of the question for at least 3 months, and riding was completely out of the question. And then I had my surgery in March of this year. I got a kidney from my mother. Post-surgery, there are a lot of restrictions in terms of what you can do and your medications, the crazy list. And I spent the first 3 months after surgery in isolation. I was missing my home, I was missing my partner, I was missing our cats. But the thing I wasn't missing was riding, and that was very scary. I kept feeling like I have lost my will to ride motorcycles. And I knew that if I had to get back, if I jumped back on my KTM, it would immediately evoke an emotional response. But there's a good chance that I would end up hurting myself or worse. It was almost like the disease had taken away more than just my kidneys. So then by August, September of this year, I kind of got back to work. It was mostly work from home. I would go to office once a week.
My oldest colleague.
And the other time when Karthik left and the classic, our long-term classic, got free. And Arun was like, dude, this is the bike for you, because this will help you get back into riding very easily. And I was skeptical at first. I still remember that the day I took the classic home, and the bike just felt unwieldy as hell. The clutch was too heavy, the bike was too heavy. Somehow I got home and I was like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to ride. A couple of weeks later, it was my best friend's birthday. My best friend now, he passed away about 9 years back, but every year on his birthday, a bunch of us friends, we go on a small ride in his memory. This year, all my friends were on faster bikes like KTMs and BMWs, but I took the classic. And the ride began with a puncture at the rear tire. By the time we got to Lonavala, the rear tire had almost eaten itself up from the inside. So just to make it home, I had to get it patched, and that whole thing cost about 3.5 grand. On top of which, I was already like feeling very apprehensive about riding. So on the way back, I was in my own lane in the center line, of course. So a Vento, which was on the right lane, decided to pass a tempo up front by swerving hard into my lane, and its bumper made hard contact with my right foot peg. And the classic did not budge, it just kept on trucking. And I looked down and the peg was torn completely off, the brake pedal was bent all the way around. And I could still keep my foot on the bracket and still use the brake in that condition. At that point, I felt, had it been any other bike, I would have just been thrown off. And then I felt the classic had just saved my life. So it was a few weeks after that we went to Mania, and Arun do the Hunter, I do the Classic. And normally when you're shooting and riding, it gets very stressful. And it took us 15 hours to get to Goa from Pune because of the shoot. But normally I would have been fried, but I was just so relaxed on the Classic. Whether it was a highway, whether it was a bad road, whether it was the twisties at Amboli, where Arun was just running away and I was still keeping up with him on this behemoth. And it just felt, at every point it felt that the bike has got my back, and it just helped me get back into riding so easily. I just felt, yeah, I can do this again. That's the feeling that I was waiting for so many months, and it came back at that ride. Yes, I love riding motorcycles. I've been doing it for over 20 years now, and it just came back in an instant. So in that sense, whether it's literally or metaphorically, the Classic did save my life. And that's the thing with the Classic. Every ride, whether it's to office or the shops or even a simple weekend ride, it all feels special. The bike's easygoing nature just puts you in a state of zen and inspires confidence. In my commutes to office every day, which includes a mix of highway and heavy traffic, I constantly got an efficiency of nearly 40 kmpl. There are some downsides to the Classic too. Firstly, the heavy clutch can feel tiring, and the tube tires are just a major downer. Even after changing the rear tire and the tube, our bike suffered from punctures a couple of more times. Still, it's been one of our most favorite long-termers. And now that it's leaving our garage, I'm not heartbroken, but I will miss it for sure. I will be a little melancholic every time I see a Cobra Classic on the streets. I mean, that's what bikes do to you. So I mean, if you guys have any stories where a bike has changed your life, I would love to hear about it. So please let us know. And thank you for watching.